class, today we're going to be in Notes section 5-2. We're going to be talking about the distributive property, and I'm on Notes page 5 in your binder. So, the distributive property. The distributive property helps to simplify what is inside parentheses when the terms cannot be combined. So, when we did order of operations, say we had a problem that was 3 times parentheses 2 plus 4, we were able to solve the 2 plus 4, and then we could do 3 times 6, and we could get an answer of 18. But when we're starting to work with letters, sometimes we cannot combine the terms that are inside of the parentheses. So that's when the distributive property comes into play. So, in our first example, if we look at the 4 and then the parentheses negative x plus y, we would originally do the groupings first, but x and y are not like terms, so we can't add them together. They cannot be added together. To eliminate the parentheses, you must distribute the number touching the parentheses to each term inside the parentheses. And remember when we talked about the distributive property with our properties unit, we said outside times the first and then the outside times the second, and if there were a third and a fourth, you would keep going. But remember, when you distribute, you're distributing the outside number to the numbers that are within the grouping. So if we do that, we're going to be doing the 4 times the negative x and the 4 times the positive y. So if we rewrite this, 4 times negative x, the 4 is positive, so it's a plus 4, times a positive y. Alright, and if I finish that off, I'm going to do this piece here. So I'm going to do 4 times negative x, which is going to give me a negative 4x. 4 times y is going to give me a positive 4y. And I can't combine those those terms. They're not like terms. So that's where I'm going to stop. Okay? So let's do some practice with this. I have a number outside and I cannot combine the like terms within the parentheses. I have an x and a constant. They can't go together. So I'm going to do outside times the first, outside times the second. So that means I have outside times the first, which is negative 3x. The 4 is a positive, so it's positive 4 times the inside. The inside is a negative 8. So be careful with that. Then I can solve this one. 4 times negative 3x gives me negative 12x. Remember, you just multiply the numbers and the letter just rides. And then I have 4 times negative 8. Now I'm not going to put that plus sign there yet because it's a positive 4 times negative 8, and I need to figure out what the sign is for this over here. So just like when we did combining like terms, if it helps you to bracket it off, do that. When I do that, I get negative 32. And those are not like terms, so I can't combine, so I get my final answer there. You try number 2. Try it on your own, pause the video here, and when you're ready, unpause the video and we'll do it together. Alright, let's do this one together now. Remember, the terms inside cannot be combined, so I need to perform the distributive property with the number on the outside. Pass out that number, so I'm going to do 5 times negative 3z, and that's a positive 5 plus 5 times 4. 5 times negative 3z, if you need to put that bracket on it, do it, is negative 15z. Positive 5 times 4 gives me a positive 20. And I can't combine those terms, so that is where I'm done. Alright, now what happens if we have a negative number on the outside? Well, it's going to work just like we did with a positive number. You just have to watch out for that negative sign. So again, we cannot combine the terms on the inside of the parentheses, so we're going to do outside times the first, outside times the second. I now have negative 4, remember your negative 4, times y. Now the 4 is negative, so it's going to be minus 4, negative 4 right there. And then I have a negative 3, because remember the sign goes with the number. Negative 4 times y gives me negative 4y. Negative 4 times a positive 3 is going to give me a positive 12. Remember that the signs go with the numbers. So there's my final answer there. You try number 4 on your own. Pause the video here. When you're ready to check it, unpause the video. Alright, now that you've done this one on your own, let's check it together. So remember, we do outside times the first, outside times the second. So I have negative 2 times 2y, I'm sorry, negative 8 times 2y. Then I have minus 8 times positive 10. Negative 8 times 2y gives me negative 16y. Negative 8 times 10, put your brackets on there, gives me negative 80. And those don't combine, so that's where I'm going to stop. Now, let's look at some below on this worksheet, because some of them are kind of tricky. Let me shrink this up a little bit so you can see what number we're looking at. Number 5. Now, if you look at number 5, do you see how there's a negative just hiding out front there? That negative is actually a negative 1, that negative 1 ninja. So when you distribute this, you're actually going to distribute that negative 1 to both the terms. So it's going to be negative 1 times 4x minus 1 times 3. And when I do that, I get negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. And negative 1 times 3 gives me negative 3. So that would be my answer there. If you look at number 6, number 6 has this fraction here. So it's going to work the same way. You do outside times the first, outside times the second. But when I write it, I have 1/2 times negative 4h. Oops, not b. And then it's positive 1/2 times a positive 8. And you would solve it just the same way as your other ones. Now, look at number 8. Number 8 is backwards. So terrifying. But we can use the commutative property of multiplication to rewrite this. So I'm going to write commutative, so remember. Because we can rewrite this. So we're going to rewrite it as 10, I'm just going to move it, negative y plus 8. If you wanted to leave the 10 there, that's fine. You would just go to the first number and then to the second number, which is going to be the same thing you would do here. Outside times the first, outside times the second. So I have 10 times negative y, positive 10, so plus 10, times positive 8. Works the exact same way. Alright, so just make sure you're careful when it's backwards. You can distribute backwards, just make sure you multiply by the first and then by the second. Don't go backwards and do the second then the first. Or you can rewrite it using the commutative property of multiplication. Your choice. So go ahead and finish the rest of page 5, and then you can begin working on page 6.